This is Scott Vanderplu, and you're listening to the Artist Edition Index Podcast, episode 66.
I went down to the St. James Infirmary, found my baby there, stretched out on a long white table, so sweet, so cold, so fast.
Or I guess more accurately, it's the AE Index Podcast, episode 66, since I've been doing this renaming business that seems to be somewhat effective and something that I can't quite keep in my mind. But I have been listening, I think the last 5-6 episodes have been set up as AE Index Podcast. So anyways, episode 66, another milestone. I feel like every month, if I reach a new episode, it's another milestone. But let's get into this month's topic. And I do have a topic for this month, not just the normal. It's a good month, though, as always. 2 reviews were done the month. We had the poll. We had the out-of-print sales. And then this month I had an article I wrote called Artifact Editions Are Dead. And that is my focus there. That's the focus for this month. I would go read the article. I think that's important. You should do that. It's a lot of facts, quotes. The gist of it is, of course, that we had artifact editions were introduced with Dave Gibbons' The Watchmen Artifact Edition in 2014. And then we had an artifact edition, let's see, when was the last one I saw? 2020. That was the last time we saw the artifact edition name appear somewhere. And then in 2021 we had Jim Lee's X-Men Artist Edition, and that had one full issue of X-Men number 1, and then all the rest were just scattered pages. And then from then we've had we've now had an announcement, Todd Mcfarlane Spider-Man Artist Edition. We've discussed that previously, and I know I've discussed this point before. And it specifically says in the solicitation, while there are no complete stories presented in this book, there are many examples of Mcfarlane's classic storytelling. So this is a sign, I felt. And then on the Penguin Random House website, under the IDW section, they had a nice article called IDW's Artists and Artisan Editions. So they talk about, for series collectors, the Artist Edition comes in an oversized hardcover format, while the Artisan Editions collect the same original pages in a less expensive and more practically sized paperback. No mention of the Artifact Edition again. So as I said, I'm pretty sure the Artifact Edition is dead. I mean, what was the Artifact Edition? Here's the blurb that came out in 2014. Like an Artist Edition, an Artifact Edition presents pages scanned from the actual original art. While the Artist Edition line produces only complete stories, well, we just already said that wasn't true from Jim Lee anyways, but in 2014 it was. Artifact Editions allow IDW to present books even if all of the original art cannot be obtained, and will include extras such as advertisements, portfolio pieces, color guides, and more. Color guides. How many color guides did we see in Artifact Editions? Interesting. All right. So as you can see, it's sort of it's fallen off the rails. I put out some questions to Scott Dunbier, editor of IDW, this line, but I have not received any responses. I haven't got a response from him in a couple months, so he's a busy guy, understood. But I'm going with the Artifact Editions are dead, and I think we can all see that is the case. And I doubt we're ever going to see another Artifact Edition. It doesn't make enough sense to bother. And as I said in the article, I'm really not sure about Artisan Edition as a title either. I mean, why not? How many books have we seen? The book is released in hardcover, and maybe it's a larger size or whatever, and then it's released in a softcover. It's got the same title. It has a different ISBN, and then you've got hardcover, softcover. Why not just have the hardcover line of Artist Editions and the softcover line of Artist Editions? Soft covers would be the 8x12 with the French flaps that we know as the Artisan Edition right now, and just skip this whole various namings. Artist Edition is a format. It's something so well known in the industry, other people are copying the name, right? It's not just a title of the book, it's a format of book. So just stick with it. Be proud. Artist Edition. Hardcover, softcover. All right. Let's talk shipping changes, because there's been quite a few. So Gil Kane's The Amazing Spider-Man Artisan Edition, I've seen some dates radically shifting, but currently Penguin Random House is showing it as August 9th, which means Diamond would have it in August 10th. Judge Dredd by Brian Boland, Apex Edition, is September 7th. The Best of EC Comics Artisan Edition has moved to September 20th. That's the same date as Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man Artist Edition is currently scheduled for. So I'm going to say one of those is still going to be moving. And then, of course, the week after that, which this is not a date move, but Alex Toth's Bravo for Adventure Artisan Edition new printing is already scheduled for September 27th. So we got 2 IDW books scheduled for the 20th and one for the 27th. I'm going to expect one of those to ship on time. Speaking of the Best of EC Comics Artisan Edition, some interesting information about that. It's been confirmed that it will contain one story by Wally Wood, Ingratitude, that has not appeared in an Artist's Edition. So now we have an Artisan Edition including new material. Now this Best of EC Stories Artisan Edition, or the Best of EC Comics Artisan Edition, and I'm still a bit unsure of the title, since we see something in the solicitation and we see something on the cover. But this is a collection of stories from the 2 Best of EC Artist Editions, and this was presenting something different, something as a best of in that 8x12 format. I keep saying 8x12. I'm pretty sure it's 8x12. Something is rattling in the back of my brain saying, no, 9x12, but let's have a look at the solicitation. I think I'm just imagining things. Yep, 8x12. Okay. So this book will have a story that has not appeared elsewhere in the Artist Edition format. So that has now put this book on my radar. So, $39.95. Putting it on my radar. Now I'm going to be picking this up. My second Artisan Edition ever, just so I can have this story. Sort of annoying. What can you do? All right. That's that. That's shipping changes. Let's talk the May 2022 poll from our good friend and Patreon patron, David Jacoy. Always thankful that he has such keen interest in these polls. All right, he says, let's see you stripped. The 1970s revitalized a lot of comic strip properties and spawned a whole new generation of amazing strips based on comic and movie properties. Some of these strips peaked in that decade. Which among them should get the AE treatment? All right, our choices were Amazing Spider-Man, Archie, Family Circus, Hagar the Horrible, and Star Wars. I voted Star Wars, and that Russ Manning art is so nice. And the IDW Library of American Comics, that was distributed by IDW, but is not any longer, now from Clover Press, did the 3 Star Wars books, and we had the Russ Manning art in the first and part of the second one. And the samples are up on the site. It looks so great. So that's the runaway vote. Amazing Spider-Man got the second votes. Archie, Family Circus, Hagar, all really low votes. Disappointing. I guess when you look at the original art, though, there's not a lot going on there. You're not saying, whoa, look at what I've been missing from what appeared in the newspaper. That's just not the case. What you see in the newspaper is pretty close to the original art. But, man, that Russ Manning Star Wars stuff just pops. Gorgeous. So there's an AE format, another AE format newspaper strip that deserves that format. Let's keep our fingers crossed. I don't think realistically we're ever going to see that from IDW. I think that the writing on the wall seems to be that they're not interested in further newspaper strips. So I think we're going to have to rely on another company to take up that mantle and get the licensing. That's something maybe, I keep hoping IDW would do something. Why do I keep saying IDW? I keep hoping Library of American Comics would do something like that. And they've got the licenses for a lot of these newspaper strips. Maybe they could do the original art as well. All right. Let's talk out-of-print sales. April 2022. I'm going to skip right ahead and let's jump on the records for this month. What was a record price this month? We had four new records this month. Conan Red Nail's Original Art Archives, Volume 1. On May 11th, it went for $400. New high. Frank Miller's Daredevil Artifact Edition. On April 23rd, new high, $329. John Byrne's Fantastic Four Artist Edition. April 29th, new high, $350. Wally Wood's EC Stories Artist Edition variant cover. So that's the variant of the second print. New high, $374.99. So there you go. There's some. Now let's talk cold turkey here and what also shipped in the month. Alien: The Illustrated Story. 1 copy sold for $110. Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller Gallery Edition. 1 copy sold for $105. That is, that's so far below cover. That's the bargain of the month, no question. 4 copies of Bernie Wright's, an Artifact Edition second print, sold for an average of $180.55. 1 copy of Best of EC Comics Volume 1, sold for $205. 3 copies of Bill Sienkiewicz's Mutants and Midnights and Assassins, sold for an average of $483.33. Man, that's, if you see a copy that cheap somewhere, pick it up, sell it on eBay. That book is really staying high. 4 copies of Conan Red Nail's Original Archives, Volume 1, averaging $318.75. 1 copy of David Mazzucchelli's Daredevil Born Again, $200. 1 copy of Don Rose's The Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck, Volume 1, $66.11. Another one. Boom. This book was flying high, well above cover, and then this is an aberration, or is that the new low price for that book? We'll have to wait and see. Fantagraphics Street Edition, Black Hole by Charles Burns, $97.61, 1 copy. 1 copy of Frank Cho's Savage Wolverine, $169.95. That's just about the average price for that book. 2 copies of Frank Miller's Daredevil Artifact Edition, averaging $277. 1 copy of Frank Miller's Sin City, The Hard Goodbye Curator's Collection, $99. 2 copies of Gene Colan's Tomb of Dracula, averaging $232.48. 2 copies of Jack Kirby, The Forever People Artist Edition, averaging $87.49. 1 copy of Jack Kirby's Fantastic Four, The World's Greatest Artist Edition, that's the twice up one, $125. 3 copies of Jim Lee DC Legends, averaging $120. 3 copies of Joe Kubert's Tarzan of the Apes, averaging $105. 1 copy of Joe Kubert's The Return of Tarzan, $78.55. 1 copy of John Byrne's Fantastic Four Artist Edition, $350. Yeah, that was the one that set the record this month. That I just trailed off because I scrolled down and think, whoa, did I do that wrong? No. John Byrne's Marvel Classics Artifact Edition, 1 copy, $129.99. 1 copy of John Byrne's X-Men Artifact Edition, $300. 1 copy of John Romita's The Amazing Spider-Man Artist Edition, Volume 2, $149.99. 1 copy of Lone Wolf and Cub Gallery Edition, $299.99. That book is really staying up there, isn't it? 1 copy of Man Artist Edition, $200. 1 copy of Mike Mignola's Hellboy and Hell and Other Stories first print, $249.99. 2 copies of the second print, averaging $219.99. 1 copy of Ross Andrews' The Amazing Spider-Man Artist Edition, $125. 2 copies of Sergio Aragona's Gru the Wanderer, averaging $180. So that's up there a little bit. 1 copy of Spawn Vault Edition, $400. This book is just amazing. How this just stays up in the stratosphere. 2 copies of Star Wars Dark Times Gallery Edition, averaging $60.61. So that book's back down to the price it sort of stayed at in pre-COVID. 2 copies of Stranko Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Artist Edition, second print, $110 average. 1 copy of Usagi Yojimbo Samurai and Other Stories Gallery Edition for $145. So that's below current market value as well. That was a good deal. 2 copies of Wally Wood's EC Stories Artist Edition, averaging $354.02. 1 copy of Walter Simonson's Star Wars Artist Edition, $102.50. 1 copy of Walter Simonson's Manhunter and Other Stories, $147.97. Is that right? Did I get that? I think I put that. No, I got that title wrong. I'm sorry. It's Walter Simonson Manhunter. Yes, I got to edit that. It's Walter Simonson Manhunter because all the DC books never have apostrophe S to indicate ownership. I will edit that up right now. And lastly, 3 copies of Will Eisner's The Spirit Artist Edition, sold for an average of $239.76. Let me harp on the wonder that is Will Eisner's The Spirit Artist Editions 1 and 2. If you're a fan of comics, the medium, then please, if you have not got those Will Eisner Spirit Artist Editions, please pick them up. They're amazing. And because the license is floating around, I don't think we're going to see an Artisan edition of that or reprints from IDW. So that is just those are stunning books. Please pick them up. My favorites, actually, when I look at the whole format of the AE format, I think that's that and Ronin. Those are my favorites. Ronin for nostalgia and just because I love Frank Miller at that period. And then moving up to Sin City, that's that. But then that Spirit stuff I only discovered, as an adult, later in life, and then to see the DC archives and the color is just so it's horrific, and then to see the magazines were so great, and then the artist editions. I mean, poof, amazing stuff. Will Eisner, I've got everything he's written. Love it. All right. This is the time when we dance, and that is the discussion of how you can support the Artist Edition Index or the AE Index. And the 3 ways, as always: Patreon patron, please, you sign up. aeindex.org/Patreon, or go to patreon.com/aeindex. You can sign up for $1 or more, whatever you'd like to do to support the site. It goes to me buying books and reviewing them, me running the site. That's all it does. And it helps that greatly. Second way to support the site is use any of the affiliate links. Anytime you see an order online link on the site, pretty much 85% of them will get me some affiliate money. Things from Another World is my best one, so if you can possibly order from my Things from Another World links, I would greatly appreciate that. And then the third way to support the site is to go to the store and buy something. Right now, that store is languishing, and I'm not sure why. I've got a bunch of stuff for cover. I mean, I've got Mad Artist editions for... I actually have 2 available, and they're both... I've got them listed as cover. Reed Crandall's EC Stories Artist Edition. I got a bunch of stuff there for cover. A few things over cover. Please check it out. aindex.org/store. All right, that's the sales pitch for the month. Thank you. All right, let's go on to our 2 reviews for the month. And that was Dave Stevens' The Rocketeer Artist Edition and Monaro Itinéraire d'un Maestro de Pratt et Caravage. I know I just butchered that, so please excuse me. Let's go. And I think I mentioned it before. I'm trying to do 1 English language AE format book, 1 foreign language AE format book. I've got a lot of French books, and I'd like to be reviewing them, so I'm going to do... But then I think people get tired of 2 French books a month, so I'm going to do 1 English if I can and 1 French. This month, thankfully, we had Dave Stevens' The Rocketeer Artist Edition, and with my emphasis and parentheses in the title, 40th Anniversary. Why do I say that? Because this has awakened a pet peeve in me that I didn't know existed. This book... You read the colophon page, which, comic people seem to think it's the indices, but in a book it's called a colophon. And it says, David Stevens' The Rocketeer Artist Edition, first printing, April 2022. Oh, wait, what about those first printing, and the second printing variant cover? All those have been lost in time or forgotten by IDW? Very interesting. This is a new printing, taking the exact same scans from the first book and from 2010, adding the 2 missing pages, and slightly updating the About This Edition. So we got 1 new paragraph, 2 new pages. The new pages are they're nice. They're easy to spot. They're signed by Dave Stevens. Very, I guess because he sold them, right? None of the other pages are signed by Dave Stevens. So that's nice to spot. So if you come to the review is really about how does this book differentiate from the 2010 edition? And that is the design by Randall Dahl, who did the interior design of the original book. I don't believe he did the cover. And this book, this new 2022 edition, 40th anniversary as I call it, with completely new redesign, new cover. Love the choice of artwork for the cover. It's great. The colors are bright. Randy has been going for nice color combinations. It looks good. Unfortunately, some of the silhouetting didn't work, and I found some of the images when they were taken and used in a large format for chapter dividers, the colophon, the table of contents, that kind of thing. The images got a bit blurry, so I was a little bit disappointed with that. End papers, great choices of end papers. So, do I recommend this book? Wholeheartedly, if you don't have the 2010 Rocketeer. Maybe it's nostalgia, or just that original design, the interior design, where it's in pencil and some ink, and it's black and white, and there's no color. It just so pops and stands out to me as an exceptional design of a book. I think that book absolutely deserved to win the design that year for the Eisners. But I really, really love that original design, and that I know that is swaying my how I feel about this current book, but I just can't get around it. All right, that's that. Let's move on to the Monaro Book, which is it's from the Angoulême Festival, and it's from their 9E Art Plus Editions publisher. And there was as usual, there's a gallery exhibit because Monaro won an award, and he was featured in a gallery. And so this is a 160-page hardcover. It is just gorgeous, filled with Manara artwork. As I mentioned in the review, we've been so, if you're thinking about foreign language creators, we're so lucky to have the wealth of Manara material translated in English. We've got all those volumes in the Dark Horse Manara library. Then we've got a lot of humanoids books translated as well. And, from that you get pretty much a lot. I don't want to give a percentage, but you get a whole lot of Manara material. I mean, there's still more material. This book includes a bibliography, and it's really fascinating because I didn't realize he did 60 illustrated plates for Wilbur Smith's The Sunbird, which is one of my favorite books. Before Wilbur Smith got all crazy, later on in his life, somebody must have said to him, your books don't have enough sex and grotesque violence, or grotesque sex and violence. And that's the later stuff is just so colored. I can't read it, but those early books that he was writing in the 70s, I just love it. And these, I was able to find those 60 plates online. Interesting. There's a bit of a rough art, but to look at them and flip through, each scene, and it's interesting to see how he visualized the characters, because it was not how I visualized them. Isn't that always the way with, when an artist takes a book and brings it to life on the page like that? All right, I've completely veered away from the topic, but Manara, the book is divided into 6 chapters, and it each covers a different section of his work. It's not really chronological. We've got some early work, and then we've got some adventure work he did. I think one of my favorite Manara works is Indian Summer, and that appeared in the Manara library. That was really nice, and we get some excellent pages from that in here. And we've got the Odyssey of Giuseppe Bergman, which also appeared in the Manara library, and just a lot of great stuff. At the last chapter, then they deal with his Fellini stuff, and the last chapter of the book is about his erotic stuff. I actually did a video of the book. I did a video flip through, but then I thought, well, do I stop at the erotic stuff? And then I did the flip through, and then I just decided I'm not going to post it. I was having some color issues. I did the photos at my dining room table, and because it's nice and bright, but the light they're too yellow. So if you look at the images in my review here, you'll see there's some yellowing issues on some of the paper, and that's the issue, is that the light was wrong. So I want to reshoot that, and then I don't know what to do about the video flip through. I don't want to have the erotic stuff on my YouTube channel. Just like I didn't take any pictures of it for my review. I want everything to remain all ages if I can, for the most part. Anyways, this is another fantastic. These Angoulême, 9E plus art edition. They make the design is just wonderful. So it's a matte paper with a slight gloss coating. The design is great. They use this. They put the barcode at the back like it's coming off the cover. It's so great. The title of the book is vertical down the spine instead of horizontal. I just love it. And the choice, the way they do the cover with art and then the logo. I mean, I gotta say, if I do an A format book, this is what I'm going for. I'm stealing this completely. I love this design, and that's basically the design I would want to choose for my package. I think it's really, really well done. Interior is great, right? Every piece of artwork lists the year, the title, the page if they have it, and the medium. A lot of the art in this book is colored. So whether he's colored on the page, he's used different mediums. And the other thing is a lot of the pages have no words. They have the word balloons, but like he knew I guess at any point, halfway through Manara's career, he knew that he was going to be published in Italian, he'd be published in French, and then later on in English. It just leaving the word balloons off probably is really he knew where he wanted the word balloon, but then the translator, they could be translated in any work and then put in there like that. Really great stuff. Now there are a lot of original pages in here too that have the Italian on them. I'm thinking of Indian Summer, the Bergman stuff, but all these books are great. I still have more to go. This is my first purchase, actually, from my first foreign purchase. that I ordered from France for 5 books from the Angoulême shop, and they're 30 and 35 euros, and I was horrified to have to spend 100 euros to get these things shipped to me, and they arrived in like 3 days. I think I said on the podcast at the time, and I was thinking to myself, can you not reduce my shipping and just get it to me in 2 weeks or a week and a half? I think I prefer that greatly, but that's not how it goes. Actually, right now I have some other things coming as well. I ordered Edition Black and White. I've reviewed 2 of their books on the site now. I've got 6 or 7 books coming from them. I was waiting to see. They have a sliding shipping scale. So, 2 books was so much, and then adding a 3rd book only bumped it a little bit. Adding a 4th book bumped it a little bit. And then adding a 5th, the 6th book, it wasn't too bad for the shipping. You're getting up there. But I thought, this year I've bought 1 book for the site, 1 or 2 books, not a lot. So now this will cover a lot of my reviewing for the rest of the year. It was a major expense, but I think it was worth it. I love what Edition Black and White does. Raphael Wacker, and great books. All right, I don't think there are any letters this month. I'm scrolling through. Oh, wait a second. We had a letter from Jerome C., who was giving me some info about foreign books, which is always great. I love it when people, foreign readers, see the site or listen to the podcast and choose to comment. I love it. So thank you for that, Jerome C. I appreciate it. He mentioned Edition Black and White and the Ciro Toda lug covers. It's a gallery exhibition, and that was the book that pushed me over the top and got me ordering from Edition Black and White this month. Other than that, that was about it. No more letters. I think that we're a bit short this month as far as minutes go, but I think we've covered what needs to be covered. Next month, Natasha, the Dupuis Artiste Edition should be available, and I'll be ordering that as well, but I think that may be my last foreign language book. Who am I kidding? That I know of that I'm ordering, so look for reviews at. All right, thanks for joining me, and we will take it away. Go to the site, read all the articles. We will bring it to voice at the end of next month as well. If you have any questions, please send me an email, scott@aenx.org. I love to get questions, love to provide answers. And have yourself a great month.
Let her go, God bless her. Wherever she may be, she can search this wide world over. She'll never find a sweet man like me.